Hey, Nathan Bruce for Congress, stop playing.
I can just, like, because it's only probably going to be me and, like, a couple
Oh,
other people.
okay.
Press room.
Just,
wow, so.
yes, good idea. Yes. Alright. What a fine looking state trooper back there. I like those uniforms. They look so much better.
What you talking about? Huh? What's the what?
The shirts. They never used to wear those.
Those
Okay.
are for narcotics.
Okay, well, it looks cool. I'm just saying,
They're
it looks
fire.
good.
I love them.
Yes.
We also
Thank
have them
you.
for K9 and CSI, but those two departments
Fuck is
don't
that,
exist
Rims?
for obvious reasons.
Yes.
Yeah, this is
You
Rams.
don't
That's
be
exciting.
getting no narcotics, boy.
Yes, I do. What do you mean?
Look at Gates wearing the fucking shirt though.
Holiday, how you like it, baby?
I'm doing good, bro. How you?
Oh, you know,
Bro,
chillin'.
are you wearing the chief shirt?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
wait,
only see
is
3
that
stars.
Okay, I was gonna say, it's like, wait, what?
No, assistant chief.
Gates is our new chief.
Sorry, Holiday,
I
we
mean,
regret to inform you that by order of
you've
the
been
government.
fired.
Alright.
Your services are no longer required.
Any questions or anything?
Come
Hello?
on in.
Yep.
Oh, that's Mr. Dale.
I can't.
Somebody
that's
let him in.
Oh, hey, Dale.
Come on, I didn't mean to, Mr.
Come on in, mister.
Miss Clint.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Miss what now?
It is that.
Miss what now?
This is. What do you mean? What kind of outfit is this? It's gorgeous.
It is amazing.
America.
Thank you, Marshall. Thank you.
Very conservative of you.
Mm-hmm.
Go red. Oh,
I wanted to vote straight conservative, but I felt like I had to go with Holiday and Merckx. So.
Merc?
Yeah,
You telling me you didn't vote any
Yeah,
Republican?
Commissioner
Come on now.
Merckx.
I didn't look at that shit at all.
So
Oh
It only
my
let me pick
God,
two.
Gates.
It only let me pick 2. What am I supposed
I
to
mean,
do?
Hey, you
I
have
know, right?
you have multiple
Commissioner
cousins.
Merckx, who ran as a Democrat.
Is this
Commissioner,
Merckx
but
right here?
here's the thing. At heart, I know Commissioner Merckx is not a Democrat, so
Okay,
actually,
yeah. Don't vote for the guy in
Yeah.
American flag vest. You know what I mean?
look,
That's fine.
Oh,
Are you
look,
running for
I vote
Congress?
incumbent because I trust what he did, and then I
Yeah.
vote Merckx because, well, he's my
Mercs, I'm so sorry, bro. I did not see your name on that list. My vote just kind of already spoke for. I love you
alright.
though.
Don't worry, he didn't vote for me much either.
I guess
Voted for
I'll
you
ask
once.
the first question.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
As chief of police and also,
142. I
asking
have
you as
that
our official endorsed candidate of the
350Z with the wing
LSPD,
pulled over.
what do you
in
hope to do
front
for law
of the
enforcement going into
ammunition.
this next term?
Can I get a chance?
I mean, I personally don't see any issues with law enforcement. I do think there's a bit of a disconnect as far as, some training. However, that's not really anything that I can handle. I hope that I can listen to both departments, and if there's something that you guys need as far as funding or any additional support from the government, I hope that we can, you'll feel that you can come to us and meet with us and let us know what it is that you need, and we'll do the best we can to provide those for you. But as far as it goes, I don't really think anything needs to be changed on our side of things. I think everything is kind of within the department, and that's up to you guys to handle how you want to handle. I'm not going to tell you how to run your department. That's not my job. My job is to make sure that you have the funding so that you can run your department successfully.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
1023.
Any other questions?
Votee.
Huh? Oh.
Perfect.
Look at Twitter. Votee.
Votee.
So, I got a question.
Sure.
What do you think you could do better to, stop all the criminals in the city? The crime rate?
I definitely think the criminal reform program that we plan on launching is a good step in the right direction. It might help to decrease the amount of repeat offenders that we get in the city. I find that with a lot of people, once they get out of jail, they find that they really have nowhere else to go except to go back to jail. So we're hoping to give them the support that they need to get their life going outside of jail, get them a job, help get them, any counseling that they need, legal and both mental and physical counseling. And that's really our plan, is to just hope to reduce the amount of repeat offenders we get. And in turn, I think that will lower the crime rate.
Now, what about the long-term people? I mean, I see it every day. People are doing crimes over and over again. See the same people all the time, and it's they talk about how the cops are unfair, this and that, but at the same time, they're putting themselves in those situations. I've personally, just on the way to that meeting up there, I pulled someone over who was in a 350Z, literally launching through the air at like 130. So they kind of asked for it. Like it's not like they. I remember Duke said something about. I didn't want to interrupt, but he was saying something about how we need to reduce what we do on like basically the bullshit, and like in reality it's never really just a simple stop and go. For the most part it's usually
142
them
to
fleeing or
102.
shooting or robbing, or I mean
Exactly.
it's not like we're going around fucking shooting them in the street.
shooting
No,
people in the
I
street.
fully understand. And
So
being
none of
being
them are really innocent.
No, and like
118,
being
you
on
say
law
you're gonna be on
enforcement
1080?
myself, I know how it goes. I mean, I witnessed with my own two eyes Mr. Gates conducting a
10-4,
simple
what's gonna
traffic
be the
stop for
car?
somebody that ran a red
Description.
light and he got gunned down when he was just giving them a ticket. So I mean, as far as those criminals that show no wish to change, they don't want to reform, they don't want to better their lives, they want to just keep choosing crime. I think harsher punishments for those individuals is needed. I don't think that law enforcement needs to lighten up on any of their punishments whatsoever. I mean, you guys are keeping the streets safe for the people that don't want to be involved in those crimes, and that's, I think, really important.
I agree.
Myself, I thought of an idea that I'm gonna possibly run by law enforcement and see if state wants to team up on this, but that's something to do non-political. But I do understand your point there, and law enforcement's fixing to be stepping up in a big way coming in the next week or two.
As far as everybody complaining that we
1015
don't
back to
have
MRPD
reform
owner
programs,
suspend
I mean,
custody.
DOJ is available. People don't want to go to trial. They want to take their 120 and they want to go to jail. They don't want to wait for a trial.
Ride.
Exactly. So I think, maybe this one's a sensitive subject because it's hard to keep it within the city versus using, government officials. But I think enforcing the need for DOJ trials for certain charges is needed.
I agree.
It's just we can't force them to do a trial.
You can't.
Sorry,
you
I
can't
had
force
to.
someone to not plead
Yeah.
guilty. That's constitutionally they have the ability to plead.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I think trying to encourage more trials and less, less 120s and goes.
Well,
I have a feeling that a lot more.
I got so many voices in my head right now. I'm back.
I have a feeling a lot more trials start happening when there's when it's harder to get out of
Another
prison
thing
with
is
a helicopter.
Duke
Exactly.
was also saying
Yes.
things about like I just blanked out on that. What were you just talking about, Smith? It had something to do with what you were talking about.
What, helicopter rides out of prison?
No, before that.
Not wanting to plead guilty or pleading guilty.
Yeah, pleading guilty.
Yeah, so like I even said in the meeting up there that like, I whispered to the people and said like, if people want to complain about DOJ, like people should sign up to be lawyers or be EMS.
Do you need me somewhere?
Yep.
Enough people on, and
That's...
it's just a stupid bullshit complaint. And like there's people in the crowd who are just saying stupid shit like, oh, but I'm not gonna do it. It's boring.
Yep, and that's why I did rebuttal with that. Some of us do the job because we have to. I mean, it's no secret. I haven't wanted to be in EMS for quite some time, but there's nobody else to do the job on days that other people don't want to. So, I mean, I'm still here. I'm still doing it. I'm happy to do it. But I mean, these complaints are getting pretty tiring of people saying there's no EMS. Like, apply for EMS then. It's really not that hard to get into that department. All you got to do is write more than one sentence. That's it. We've incredibly lowered the standards to get into EMS, like incredibly, versus what my original standards were. It's almost, I mean, I'm sure this flag could get into EMS if you really wanted to apply. Like, it's not hard. Just people don't want to do it.
And also they want more money on things, but
which
money on what? Like legal jobs? Because if they actually did legal jobs, they make good money. You're not going to be a billionaire, but
yep. And that's something that frustrates me a lot, as well as the money that the EMS do make. I mean, you used to make $1,000 on EMS per paycheck. Like we've come a long way in what we can afford, but I don't think people understand. If I'm going to sit here and increase the prices to EMS, I'm increasing your medical bills too, because that's where our funding comes from. We don't get government.
Come from thin air.
Exactly. We don't get government. I mean, it came from my pockets for a long time, which might as well have been thin air because I was broke for a very long time. But I lost my train of thought. Okay. you know, the funding comes from the medical bills that people pay. So if I'm increasing our wages, the hospital is just going to go broke again, and then nobody's going to want to end up working for free. So we have a very good balance, and I spent a lot of time doing the math that I did to make sure that our wages were still decently high, but also not too high that they would be making, you know, way more than an LEO. And then, you know, maybe people wouldn't be applying for LEO jobs. They'd be applying for EMS instead just because it makes money. I don't think people need to be worrying about the money. Like, at the end of the day, you need to do the job that you want to do, not do the job that you're doing to get rich quick. Because, I mean, realistically, all of these jobs make a lot of money. You're going to make the money.
Yeah, that was my point as well. It's like they're complaining about money, but they don't work. I see 90% of the population sitting in a 4-block radius of Legion.
Yeah, and just occasionally attempting a bank robbery here and there.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
that's fine
woman
if
came
that's
up
what you
and
want
asked
to do.
some question about that. Like, why are people getting booked for these X amount of crimes? And it's like, what do you mean, 6 armed robberies, or an armed robbery and 6 attempted murders of an LEO? You think we're just gonna put you in for 10 minutes?
Yeah, no, I mean, I fully do believe that our punishments need to be stronger for people that are continuously repeating and don't show any remorse for what they're doing. I mean, their argument of mistakes were made when you're shooting an LEO, I think they're now they're now using things like in their head to compensate for what they're doing in the city here, and that's not how that works. You're in the city, you're here to live your life in the city. You're not
using outside means.
Exactly. Thank you. This is really hard to explain here without going OC here. So I think that's what a lot of them are failing to realize. At the end of the day, we're in the city. We're not in, you know, we need to believe that we're in the city and not that we're in a video game gunning people down in, you know, GTA Online. Like, that's not what this is. We're in the city. We're here. We're living our life. The punishments, I think, are incredibly fair. I think in some cases they need to be worse.
I have a theory for something we could implement. Now I know we couldn't do something like a 3 strikes thing, you get life, kind of like what they do in California, over there in California. If any of y'all heard of that place, that'd be a little too extreme. But what about an increasing punishment system where, like, if you do a crime, you get arrested for the standard time, but if you go back out and do it again, say within a week, you get like 1.5 times the time, and if you do it twice within a week, you get 2 times the time.
Well, I think that would have
don't
to go
hate
to
that,
a probation or a
but
parole system would be the only
yeah,
way
That might be.
we would
Yeah, that might be what it has to
I
go
think
through,
getting a probation and parole system up and running is going to be incredibly beneficial. That's something that we wanted to try to get ready for the campaign so that it could be talked about, but unfortunately I got out the points that I wanted to get out, and I got out the points that I felt were most important, and I kind of just put the rest on the back burner in case I was elected. But I do believe that getting a parole system up and running is going to be very important, and I think that people that don't follow the parole system should, you know, end up getting longer sentences. They should go to trial, and they should start getting 500, 6 month and upwards, depending on what their offense is, if they're violating parole, because that just shows that they're just there to do crime and go to jail and get out and do it all over again. They're not there to reform. They're not there to get a job. They're not there to be a contributing member of society. So, I mean, people like that in my head are treated with life in jail. I don't know why it's not happening here. You know what I mean?
I could understand that. My issue that we're running into is everyone wants to complain about us as law enforcement these days and the issues that we have. But these people fail to realize, and quite frankly, I'm very proud of this. Commissioner Merckx can attest to this. Our bank robbery, statistic has gone down quite a lot when it comes to criminals successfully pulling this off. We've gotten a lot better at that, I'd say, over the last couple of weeks. Uh, in regards of stopping robberies and crime of that nature.
My personal opinion is I don't believe that law enforcement is necessarily directly to blame for everything that is happening in the city. Like I said, and I stand by my statement, I do believe in holding individual officers accountable for their actions, but I don't believe that should negatively impact the entire department. just because old Smith here wants to shoot somebody in the face doesn't mean every officer wants to shoot somebody in the face. Like I'm just using you as an example. I know you don't do that, but that doesn't mean that every officer around the block is going to do that. And I work in law enforcement. I understand we have good officers on the force. We have people that want to do good and protect the people, and they're still being gunned down every day by criminals for simple traffic stops, simple citation, because somebody just doesn't want to pay the $2,000 ticket that they're getting when, I mean, realistically, we all know they have millions and they can afford it. So that aspect, I don't understand what their argument is, because clearly they haven't worked on both sides and they don't understand. It's shitty on both sides. It's really shitty to be on both sides.
I agree. Working in law enforcement is not all that it cracks up to be, especially when you get in higher positions. You know, more responsibility comes, and quite frankly, more headache. But we as law enforcement do the best that we can. We just wish the civilians would be more understanding. You know, it's like, look, we're just doing the best that we can.
I definitely feel like more interdepartment communication would be nice.
It will, and
it would help
it's
with
coming.
efficiency of things.
Yeah,
I know we talked about having like weekly meetings or something. I don't know. I support the idea, but
yeah. Well, we'll definitely get that done. Just this week's been very hectic as far as election week, getting things done. But we'll definitely get that scheduled.
All right, I just got an update on the polls. And it was as expected.
well, the voting hasn't closed
Hey, it's
yet.
only 3 or 4%.
Yeah,
Throw up some ads and stuff. I already put it in state and to vote for us and to vote for you.
We could keep going around the city and talking to people.
Yeah, I mean, I could try. That's not gonna. Yeah, we could do it. Next location.
The estimate is about 25% of
all votes.
Roughly, based off of the amount we think we're gonna get, it's about 25%. So there's still a lot more to go.
Okay.
Also, majority of people probably in the city already.
We need to get some. Welcome. I have a feeling these people basically can help. Throw up some ads, so show support for Lexi. See what we can get.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna fly on Vulcan real quick.
Alright.
God damn it.
So where do you want to go next?
We could try Pillbox and see if anybody's available.